It's John Vance at Peoria Nissan, and I'm stuck on the roof at 9151 West Bell Road here in Peoria to support the Nissan National 10 event. Just like the deals that are happening downstairs, Mike, it's getting pretty hot up here too, isn't it?
You know, and it's early in the morning. We're 9 o'clock in the morning. It's getting warm out.
It really is. And joining me today is Mike Tellef from the Peoria Police Department. Mike, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for inviting us.
You bet. Really appreciate you coming out, and hopefully a lot of our fans and a lot of the community get to learn a few things about holiday safety that we're going to talk about. And why is Memorial Day such a risky time of the year for people on the roads?
Well, I think the biggest reason is the first big holiday since school's been in session, school's finally out. You know, so it's that first big holiday of the year, and people are just kind of itching to go.
Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest problems. And it traditionally has always been the holiday weekend with the most DUI-related crashes, DUI-related arrests, fatalities, that kind of thing. So I think it has a lot to do with the fact that people are just letting it go.
Yeah, they're gearing up for that long weekend, right? A lot of them have a 3-day weekend, so they might be getting out of town, going camping, whatever, and regretfully some of the other things happen. Yeah. Are most people pretty good judges of whether they've had too much to drink? You know what I mean? And drive to make that decision?
Most aren't. Most think that they stick with that 2 drinks or 3 drinks. I don't think I've ever heard a DUI suspect ever say that he's only had 2 drinks. Anything more than 2 drinks. But no, most people aren't, because that is really so important to remember here in Arizona is that we are a impaired to the slightest degree state. So you don't have to be an 08 to be arrested for DUI. If your ability to drive is impaired to the slightest degree, we can still charge you with DUI.
Right, even if they're less than a .8, correct?
Exactly.
Or .08. Yeah, .08, I'm sorry. You got to get my measurements right?
Oh yeah, if they're .8, they're going to the hospital. If they're still alive.
Which I doubt they would be.
They probably would.
That's right. For all the people hosting holiday parties, probably a lot of that backyard barbecues, holiday parties, things like that are happening, you know, this Memorial Day weekend. What good advice do you have for those people in terms of ensuring that their guests make it home safe and sound?
Well, one, stress on your guests to begin with. They need to have a designated driver, and you can rotate that because there's so many different events and activities and parties going on. So make sure you have a designated driver, and then you, as the host of that party, you need to stay on top of your guests. And don't be bashful. If you see somebody that's had way too much to drink, they're getting ready to leave, they've got the car keys in their hand, take the keys away from them. You don't want to be the one that was the last person that saw them before they crashed into the car full of kids down the street and killed them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, I think what people forget all too often is a $25 taxi ride can sometimes be the best investment you could ever make.
Oh, absolutely. And if you stop and look at your average DUI, even for a first offense, a .08, you're looking at almost $5,000 in fees and fines.
Right.
So that $25 cab ride is off with you.
It certainly is. And guess what? It's safer, and it's safer to everybody out on the road that aren't, you know, maybe partaking in some of these holiday festivities, I guess. And speaking of that, about the holiday, the Peoria Police Department will have a DUI checkpoint up at Lake Pleasant. Can you give us an idea how checkpoints really help save lives in our community?
Well, what we do is, I think because of the case law that's out there, we have to notify the public where we're setting up a checkpoint. And by doing that, people will usually make sure they have a designated driver. We're encouraging them to have one. We don't use them a whole lot. We really only use them about once a year up at the lake. We stop about 1,700 cars coming out, and even seeing what they're coming up to, we'll still catch. When we had one last year, pulled up to the checkpoint with a beer between his legs. I guess he figured we weren't observant enough to see that.
Wow.
But you know, they'll pull up there and they'll still be drunk. It's kind of fun to watch down the road of them trying to put the least impaired person behind the wheel of the car. So it's really helped us out. Since we instituted these 4 years ago, we haven't had a serious injury, collision, or a fatality in that stretch of State Route 74 since we instituted.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, a lot of people up at the lake, I'm certain, you know, having a lot of fun, boating and all those kinds of things, and I think that's a great place for a checkpoint, really. Mike, I really want to take this time to thank you and the whole city and predominantly the Peoria Police Department for coming and joining us and talking about some of these holiday safety tips, right, for people to have a safe holiday. And everybody, make sure that you do have a safe holiday and be safe and make good decisions, right, so that we can make sure that we do save lives here in the community. So Mike, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. You bet, my pleasure. And I'm John Vance at Peoria Nissan, where I'm stuck on the roof, and you can visit us online at stuckontheroof.com for our daily specials and also our daily service specials. So thanks so much for joining us.